and Lenny knows it, and he knows it, and Roger knows it. I said, listen, please do videos with Leo. He's there. I couldn't make it. Caden's in the hospital. He could die right now, okay? And what ended up happening was they ended up doing videos for Leo. I never spoke bad about Leo ever, okay? And then Leo later on says, I've relapsed on heroin, which I've never done, okay?
He's
And
saying
then,
they relapsed
yeah,
on it.
that's why I didn't make it. So he totally disregarded my stepson dying and all that, okay? And then he said later on, he said that, no, I did Ibogaine, so I was going to be out. He did that with Anton Valiant. He made a bunch more lies right before he died, okay? He made a bunch more lies about me, saying all kinds of crazy shit. You know, I don't even want to say what he said because it's so disturbing, you know. But one of the things he said was that I intentionally gave my son's mother Ibogaine so she could breastfeed him with Ibogaine. And it's, I mean, listen, if all that were true, then Andy definitely didn't die from it for sure. But that's not true. And the fact that he would talk ill about my son's mother and my son and me, I mean, listen, man, you don't talk lies about people like that, dude. You just don't do that shit. And I have my own opinion on how he died, if you want to hear that, because I said I would talk about that. Do you want to hear that?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of segueing into that. So, yeah, definitely. I want to, once you're done with that, I want to back up and regroup on something else, you know, about this.
Back on this? Okay.
Yeah, but let's go do your Leo.
Right. So
now this is just your theory now, right? Is this any?
This is my theory.
And based.
And this is not.
You can tell what it's based on.
It's based. I'll tell you exactly what it's based on.
Sure. Okay.
Leo was known to take an amphetamine called Dexedrine. He talked about it. He said that it was better than Adderall. He told everyone that it was great. He told everyone that he used it when he was in America.
What is the name?
I believe it's called Dexedrine.
And you said it's like an Adderall type of medication.
Amphetamine. He said he hated Adderall, but he liked this one. Okay, so there's basically there's two types of amphetamines that you could get legally prescribed in America. This was not the Adderall one; it was the other one. Okay. And he ended up becoming an alcoholic really bad, and everything that I said that he did, I said he was verbally abusive to Lucy, because when we were doing videos, I would hear him yell at her, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, what the fuck? You like, why are you? I didn't say it to him, but I'm like, Lucy, do that. Like, you know, it was obvious, you know, and that was in the very beginning, and he flashed on me too, so I knew that he was like, he had this like snap type of like, he would get so angry, you know what I mean? He'd get so angry he would flash. Anyway, when they broke up, I don't know if it was prior to it. Some people say he was an alcoholic before that. When he was with me, he wasn't. He was not an alcoholic. He vaped a lot of nicotine. He did the nicotine vaping.
Okay. How long of a time period are we talking about when you?
About a year. About a year.
Year before he passed.
Yeah.
Working together. Okay.
And then so then he started making videos that were negative about me, and the main reason was because I didn't want to do his YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. What he said was he wanted me to do his YouTube channel high on marijuana and high on whatever drugs, which I wasn't using. So I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even do these things. And so that he could make me clean. He wanted to be able to be the guy that makes Guru of being clean. And for everybody out there, I'm being tested by the federal government. So if any of you think I'm on drugs, you're absolutely insane. If I was, my bond would be violated. Okay. And they're testing me hard. It's not a joke. They want me to go back. They don't want me to be on bond. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so he ended up meeting his dad, and I believe that Tony Hughes told me that if he didn't come out to Thailand and Tony didn't start working with him, Tony told me personally he believed that he would have died of alcoholism. Okay. Tony also told me that when he got there, he asked baby mama if she knew where to get meth.
Okay.
Okay. Now Tony gave him money. And my belief is that when they went down to the area where all the prostitution and all the drug dealing and all that stuff is, okay, he started to think, where can I get something like this Dexedrine that I was taking in America? Again, this is just we'll find out when the autopsy comes out, but this is what I think, okay? And I have a pretty good reason to believe this, okay? Because we all know he was murdered now, okay? That's a fact. We know that. John Bravo did that video.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know he was murdered. Okay, so I believe he started looking to find out where he get it, and it's not hard. In Thailand,
it's fucking.
if you want, yeah, it's just you just ask somebody on the street, and they'll ask someone, and you'll get it. Okay, I believe that Vigorous Steve says we got to thank Leo because he was able to just go in his room and research for 3 days nonstop and give us all this information. Yeah, he's fucking high on meth. That's why. Who else can fucking go in their room in his cave like Tony Hughes would say? Leo just got out of his cave. That's methamphetamine behavior. That's amphetamine behavior. Nobody can do that. No one, not even a college student, not even on Adderall, can you stay up for 3 fucking days and be able to focus on something to where you can actually understand it. Now, I'm not talking negative about meth. I'm just saying how it is. The Germans used it in World War II. The Japanese used it in World War II. And they used it because they were able to focus and able to stay awake for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. Leo was able to focus, and he was able to stay awake for long periods of time and do research. Okay? Mm-hmm. My belief is that the people he was dealing with were Thai gangsters. These people are the people that pay off the police because they deal openly, so they pay off the police. Yeah. Because they deal openly. It's like right there in your face. You want it, you ask this guy, Hong Po Mao or whatever the fuck his name is, and he talks to his buddy or little kitty or whatever, and they get you fucking meth, okay? Well, Leo's smart, and I'll never take that away from him. Rest in peace. I don't give a shit what he said about me. I don't care about the negative stuff he said about me. Deep down inside, I know he had a good heart. I know the reason that he hated me was because he actually loved me. He loved me as a brother and as a friend, and because I didn't go to Florida, and because I wouldn't do his show, he felt betrayed by me, and therefore he had a hate campaign. And everybody needs to understand, you cannot hate someone unless you love them. Because if not, it's just an indifference and you just don't care about the person. No, but he cared so much that he felt hurt, that he wanted to do hurtful things. Because you could tell when he talks, he had some resentment. And the resentment was, I stopped being his friend. And he couldn't handle that. He could not handle the fact that I stopped being his friend. Now, lo and behold, Tony started doing videos with Connor. Tony started doing videos. Initially, it was just the Leo and Tony team. Mm-hmm. And then Tony started doing videos to other people. Now, I know Leo. He's possessive. He didn't like that. Okay? For whatever reason, I don't know. But I believe that these Thai gangsters that were getting him the meth got into his home, got into Tony's home where he was staying. Mm-hmm. I cannot say one way or another whether Tony knew or Tony didn't know. I talk to Tony on a regular basis. Like he texted me yesterday. Okay. I honestly don't think Tony knew. Yeah. But he said that he heard this shuffling, and then he left town for a few days. He didn't bother to do a welfare check when he heard the shuffling because he heard noise. So obviously there was no reason to do a welfare check, right? Mm-hmm. If you hear noise, there's obviously someone there.
Somebody's awake, yeah.
Right. Now, mind you, he went away for 3 days, which means he died right around the time when Tony left. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I believe that as smart as Leo is, he hid something under the toilet. Because if you remember and you recall, there were tools that were found.
But Cougar Claus has this a very good question, and I second it as well. I agree. What are your thoughts while the toilet was taken up from the floor? It seems
I'm going
like
to tell you, there were tools found by the toilet.
Mhm.
I know that I've been through a raid where the cops raid my place and they've never, ever, ever searched under the toilet. Leo's so smart. He's so smart that he knows that no one ever checks under the toilet. I believe he had money under the toilet. He had hidden money under the toilet.
Mhm.
They beat that. They beat him. Poor Leo. I don't care. I don't care about the hatred stuff. I know the man loved me. Okay. I still feel bad for him. I still feel bad for Lucy. I feel bad for his daughter. Okay. It doesn't matter that he said that negative lies about me. I don't care. Okay. He's gone. And
Yeah.
that's sad. And I believe they beat him to the point at gunpoint, and they say, give us the fucking money or we're going to
How,
kill you. And
how
they
much
would
money
beat
could
him.
he
And,
have had? How
what?
much could he have been carrying with him?
I don't know because Tony gave him money, but I think that he probably kept that money and hid it under the toilet. For what reasons, I
Yeah.
don't know. But he probably figured, you know what, fuck these guys, I'm not going to pay them. And more than likely, they scoped out Tony's house. They followed him back to his house one day after him getting the meth or whatever.
Yeah.
And they realized that, okay, this is where he lives, this is where he stays. They figured out how to get in and all that shit. Regardless of what Tony was gone, okay? They get in the house again. I think they beat him to the point where they were like, give us the money. I think he used tools to unscrew the toilet, to take the money from under the toilet, because mind you, it's not wet there.
Yeah.
There's a drain that goes down there, but like there's areas on the side of the toilet where there's a gap and it's actually raised up a little bit. If you look at the toilets, all the toilets
Yeah.
are like this, it's raised up a little bit. You could put money there, okay? And I believe that's what he did. And I believe that they beat him to the point where he gave him the money. And then after he gave him the money, I believe that they murdered him. And the reason that the reporters were there before the police is because the gangsters probably knew the prostitutes that were hanging out with Tony, because he openly admits that he brings prostitutes back to the house.
Yeah.
Now we're not Thai, right? That's their country, man. Okay, that's like being a white man in the black ghetto, and you think that they don't all talk to each other? Yeah, they do. Okay, so the Thai people all talk to each other. They all work together, and they're paying the cops, and they're getting away with what they're doing because they're paying the cops, and they're never going to be found. No one's ever going to find them because they pay the cops, and that's why the journalists were there, the reporters were there before the police.
Mm-hmm.
And the police don't think that they didn't know. They saw, they knew, but they're being paid off. They're never going to say,
Look for. Yeah.
Right. Who are they going to blame it on? If anyone, the white man, Tony. If anything.
Yeah.
Or they're going to say, it was a murder, but we don't know who did it.
Yeah, we don't have a.
Right. And the fact is that, these people pay the cops off, man.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Place, without a doubt. What are your thoughts on the blood-stained women's clothing? Who could have caused another good question that were found in the bathroom, I guess, near his body.
I believe that he had women's clothing there because it probably is some girl that he was seeing. And I believe that the blood was his
blood.
And it was just probably like when they beat him and he started bleeding, he probably grabbed the closest thing to him to cover the blood. And then this is something that you got to think about this, right? Leo would have fought back. But if he's held at gunpoint, what could he do?
Yeah. I don't know him personally. From the video, he look like a small framed guy? Was
But
he like?
regardless, no, he wasn't that big. Okay, I'm gonna say that he wasn't that big. Any human being would have fought back
Yeah,
unless you're held at gunpoint. If you're held at gunpoint, you're not going to fight back.
yeah.
So I believe he was held at gunpoint to undo the toilet to
Yeah.
get the money after he was beaten to the point where he realized that he better give him the money
Or
because he's held at gunpoint because they weren't fucking around then. That's why I think the toilet was undone. There's no other fucking logical reason, people. Think about it. Why would there be tools there?
The only reason to do it would be look for DNA, which it was his blood probably, if anything, would have dripped into there. I'm looking at it just as an investigator.
No, because they already had his DNA blood, though. There was blood everywhere.
All over him. I mean, they already had his.
Yeah.
They're looking for the other.
And there was no other blood found.
There was no other DNA.
No, it was all his.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna. Again, blood's not gonna get under the toilet. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay. When you have to unscrew that motherfucker, and that's what happened. We know there were tools there. We know it was unscrewed. So all the theories of they made it look like this, and no, there's a reason for that, people. There's a reason for that. There was something under the toilet that was valuable that they made him get. I believe it was money. I can't think of anything else. I believe that he was using meth because he went from alcohol. I understand addiction. He switched his addiction from alcohol to amphetamines, which he was used to taking. He did that so that he could do the research, so that he could come up with these great videos and come up with all these great things. And like Vigorous Steve said, we got to thank Leo for being able to do our days and days of research. Come on, man. Think about it. No human being could do that without some kind of chemical.
You had said originally that you thought that he was looking in Thailand for the Adderall, the other.
Yeah, they don't have it there.
Okay, so
that's an American drug.
Why would he go to meth? I mean, that's a big jump. I mean,
it's
usually
not a big jump. They're both amphetamines.
Say again?
They're all amphetamines.
Okay,
meth is an amphetamine. Adderall has 4 types of amphetamine salts in it. That Dexedrine has a couple of different types of amphetamines in it. If you can't get your drug of choice, let's say you're drinking whiskey and you're an alcoholic and you want alcohol, you're not going to drink vodka if it's there. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you drink fucking rubbing up. So why not use cocaine though to stay awake and focus?
Because cocaine's not very popular in that country, believe it or not.
Right.
Cocaine has to be imported. No, let's answer the questions, right? Because people want to know. Cocaine's got to be imported from South America into Thailand. Much harder to get imported than for them to make it. And in Thailand, it's called shabu. I know the name for it even, okay? And methamphetamine is called shabu. And it's very, very popular over there. The prostitutes use it. It's very popular over there, okay? So he probably hooked up with a prostitute. Tony said that he had a girlfriend, okay? Mm-hmm. There is no such thing as a girlfriend over there. They're all about money, okay? Let's just be honest, guys. Don't fucking fool yourselves, okay? The only person that loved him was his wife, and she loved him. She loved him dearly, and I know that. Mm-hmm. I met her, and I could tell that this woman was in love with this man. And that was the main reason why I liked him and why I worked with him. And I put him on RX Muscle. And that was how he got introduced into the bodybuilding world. I think Tony joked about the following. Tony was investigated that day. And, he still doesn't like going back to Pattaya. That's why he stays in Bangkok right now. I don't know the reasons why.
I would get the fuck out of that country if
I said the same thing. I had a conversation with Tony.
Yeah.
I said, you need to get the fuck out of there because once they arrest you, it's going to be like Midnight Express. You ever seen Midnight Express?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be the same thing. And then they're you're a lawyer, and they're going to get some Thai lawyer in there that's going to translate for him.
Yeah.
And sign this paper and you'll be out. He signs the paper and he fucking gets 20 years in a Thai prison where they're raping him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I told him to get the fuck out of there.
Get out of here.
So
What's
You
the
know, and then what he said? He goes, well, if I leave, I'm going to look like I'm the suspect. I'm like, motherfucker, if you leave, you're not going to get arrested. You
you're
can
an
always
American?
come back in 6 months,
Yeah.
you know?
So you don't think it was a joke. You think Tony is truly being followed. That's what.
Yes,
Who
Tony's
is.
being
Okay.
followed. Yes, he is. And I told him to get the fuck out of there, and he's not listening.
Yeah.
So
I would.
I don't know what else to do. I personally spoke to him on the phone for 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
And I said that, listen, I don't give a fuck. Leave. You have your passport. You're not being arrested. You
No.
haven't been charged. But in Thailand, you don't get bond. Once they arrest you, that's it. It ain't like me in America, where I have my fucking rights, where I could be like, this is against my fucking civil rights. You have to release me before my trial. No, in Thailand, they do what they want. And remember, he's the white man in their country.
Yeah.
They will do what the fuck they want to do with him.
Yep.
And it's just a matter. Listen, if they took almost 2 years to arrest me in America, you don't think that they could arrest him in 6 months? That when that autopsy comes back, what's he going to do then?
I agree with you on that. Now, didn't the autopsy come back and his wife wanted to, be private with it? I'm just saying that's what I read. Is that true?
If that's the case, then it's probably because of what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and also tox. Obviously, from the Heyman's thing, it takes a longer time to come back.
Right.
And I don't fucking labs there. But anyway, how good are their labs?
No,
in fucking.
He's no. He's in America, bro.
No,
he was buried in
his body. He came back, and they're doing the testing over here.
Well, okay, so I don't know where they did the testing. I don't know.
Oh.
Okay, but I would imagine they brought his body back. He was buried in Boulder, not too far from me. I actually messaged Lucy and asked if I could go to the funeral and show my respect. She didn't respond because I think she thought that I wanted to like piss on his grave or something for all the negative shit he said about me.
Yeah.
But that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show my respect for the Leo that I knew that was a good person, because I knew a man named Laith Algaz. I knew a man named Laith Algaz, rest in peace. And he had a good heart. And it was when it wasn't on alcohol, when he wasn't on anything else, this man was a good person. And I can honestly say this, I know he loved me like a friend. He really did. And I know that he was heartbroken that I wouldn't do his I have the text messages still, but I'm not going to post them because I'm not that kind of a asshole that does that shit. But, point blank, he felt betrayed by me. He felt as if he gave me his friendship and I turned it down. And that's not what happened. I was dealing with the death and I was mourning the loss of my stepson, and he didn't understand that. In his opinion, because it wasn't my child, he's like, just get over it, But this is a guy who was able to leave his wife and daughter. Okay? So obviously he could give a fuck less, but that's not me. I cared a lot.